Welcome back. We're into our coverage now of the war in Europe between Ukraine and Russia. We're learning at least 49 people have been killed in a Russian missile attack on the Ukrainian city of Poltava. The Ukraine Defense Ministry says the number of those injured has also risen to 219. It also says search and rescue is ongoing and that there was no military parade or any other event at the time of the strike. Poltava residents speaking about the time of the attack said the air raid alert started a minute after there were two explosions. Earlier, President Volodymyr Zelensky said two missiles hit the Institute of Communications, which is a military institute in the city, and a hospital. Overnight, the Ukrainian military reported launches of Iskander missiles from occupied Crimea, around 430 kilometers away, which is within the missile range. Well, Russian President Vladimir Putin is in Mongolia on a state visit, despite an ICC warrant for him. An honor guard welcomed the president in the Mongolian capital earlier today as he arrived to meet the country's leader, Ukana Kurelsuk. Air Mongolia has blanked calls for it to arrest the Russian leader on the international warrant. Mongolia is a member of the International Criminal Court. They issued an arrest warrant for President Putin last year over the alleged war crimes in Ukraine, including the deportation of children to Russia. However, Putin received a warm welcome. The capital's central Genghis Khan Square was decked with huge Mongolian and Russian flags for his first visit to the neighboring country in 5 years. There was, however, small protests gathered the previous day as the Russian president arrived in the country. Just a handful of demonstrators held signs demanding "Get war criminal Putin out of here." In another development, the UK Member of Parliament Edward Ley has called on the government to publicly approve Ukraine's use of British-supplied Storm Shadow missiles and US-made weapons to help win this war against Russia. He made the comments during a House of Commons meeting on Monday. Ley criticized the West's current approach to Ukraine, describing it as a strategy that seeks to wound but not win. He argued that Ukraine should be given the green light to use Storm Shadow missiles and US-made Army tactile missile systems to push back against Russian forces more effectively.
Or attacked by a demented bear, you either run away or you hit him so hard that he runs away. But our policy of the West in Ukraine appears to be to wound and not win. In that context, will this government make an unequivocal statement in public that Ukraine should be allowed to use Storm Shadow and, more importantly, the US-made Army tactical missile system? Then we might actually win this war.
The issue of Storm Shadow, there has been no change in the UK's position. We have been providing military aid to support Ukraine's clear right of self-defence against Russia's illegal attacks. That has been in accordance with international humanitarian law. And we are clear that equipment provided by the UK is intended for the defence of Ukraine.
Golden McKay.